As someone who has spent countless hours alone in the wilderness, I can confirm that being out in the wild can be scary. And the thoughts of something going wrong can creep up on you like an elephant at the zoo. In this video, I'm going to break down how I've overcome my fear and anxiety of being alone in the outdoors, which has led to some of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. From the depths of the remote Maine wilderness to paragliding off mountaintops, fear has met me at every trailhead. But how I've managed to conquer that fear is not how you would expect. Let's get into it. Growing up, my favorite TV show was Bear Grylls' Ultimate Survivor. I made sure to tune in every single week to see his adventures to the most remote places on Earth. And I was always amazed at the incredible landscapes he found himself in, and how he managed to be out there all alone with nothing but the clothes on his back, and a full support crew I would later find out to absolutely shatter my childhood wonder. But endlessly inspired, I hope that someday I would be able to experience these wild places as well. Not only that, but the adventure of getting out alive and back to civilization was something that I would roleplay on every single camping trip my family went on. But there was always a part of me that just wanted to stay out there. I love the peace that the wilderness brought. A place where all of my 8-year-old worries and concerns would just melt away into the trees. Fast forward to being an independent human being, and I was off on every adventure that I could handle. Most of the time this was with friends or family, but that call to go out into the wild alone was something that still tugged at me. My first big solo adventure came in the form of a van road trip across America. Now, I know what you're thinking. This isn't getting out into the wilderness. And you would be correct, but going out into the western plains of America all alone was just as daunting as going into the backcountry of New Hampshire. Normally, the first few days of a road trip are filled with anticipation and excitement for the trip ahead. Mine was not. I was filled with anxiety, uncertainty, and fear. Every mile I got further from home, I questioned whether I should turn back. And the thoughts of, what if I break down in the middle of nowhere and no one is around to help me and I don't have any phone signal? What if somebody tries to rob me? What if I get lost or injured and no one is around to help me? All of these thoughts just flooded my brain and would not shut up in my head. It's not easy to admit being scared, especially as someone that prides himself on being an adventurer, and especially as a man. And now I'm not trying to play victim here. I understand that there are people that have much tougher situations. But the truth is, until you've done it, no matter what gender, race, or ethnicity you are, you will experience some form of anxiety. The fear of the unknown is a universal human experience. This is something we all share, even if there are people that don't claim or don't seem to have it. In the end, the van trip turned out great, and I'm so happy that I didn't turn around in those first few days of heading out. Like most adventures, it was absolutely transformational, but it took pushing through that first wall to get there. My first real solo wilderness experience was a 2-day backcountry hike in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York. I decided to do the Devil's Path, a notoriously difficult 26-mile hike that would take me 2 days to complete and include 10,000 feet of elevation gain, and a night alone in the woods. Since this was a point-to-point trail, I had to park at the end of the trail and organize a taxi to take me to the beginning of the trailhead. From the moment I left my van and the taxi pulled up, the creeping sense of fear started to raise its head. Despite the driver being very friendly and welcoming and asking me all about my hiking experience and sharing some of his as well, the tension was building with every mile he drove further and further from my vehicle. All I could think was, wow, now I have to walk all this distance back to my van through the woods alone. He dropped me off at the trailhead, pulled away, and for the first time, maybe ever, I was truly alone in the wild, with not a single soul in sight. The silence was deafening, and I could hear my heart beating through my chest with my new, fresh backpack strapped to my back. Still in early spring, I set off on my adventure in the fittingly chilly and eerie woods of upstate New York. And from doing my research, I knew that there were bears in the area. I didn't know how many or where they were, but once again, the fear of the unknown ruled and dominated in my head. To be honest, every squirrel, every stick crack scared the shit out of me, but I didn't really have a choice. I had to continue to walk and push through that fear. I put myself in that situation, and I was the only one that was able to get myself out of it. I finally got to play Bear Grylls for real, but he didn't talk about this part of being scared, or at least my 8-year-old brain didn't comprehend or conceive him ever being scared in the wild. And then I reached the summit of my first peak and looked down over the cliff edge. One wrong step, one twisted ankle, and I would be in some serious trouble. I've been on cliff edges before, multiple times, in remote places, but normally I'm with somebody else. And that being with somebody else creates this weird sense of security that even if something goes wrong, you know that you'll be okay because you have somebody else to get help. And even in the van, I had AAA, or I had other vehicles passing by at the worst case scenario. But now, out there all alone on this mountain, it was all me. It was all on me. At first, that was an absolutely terrifying thought. But over time, that feeling of self-reliance and full responsibility for your own life is one of the main reasons I continue to pursue these kinds of adventures, because it's rare that we find this feeling in modern day life. As much as modern conveniences are incredible, we've built a world in which we've stripped away the wild, but there's still a part of us, a part of our soul that still craves that sense of freedom and grand scale of nature. There's something special about being alone in the middle of nowhere that makes us feel truly alive. At least it does for me. Some people travel to the ends of the earth to find that feeling. For some, it's an escape, and for others, it's the only place where they can truly feel like themselves. Let's get this clear. Fear and anxiety are there for a reason. The goal is not to become fearless. These feelings have evolved for a very specific reason, and that is to keep us safe. And without them, we would all be Alex Honnold free soloing up El Capitan in Yosemite. The problem is 99.9999% of us don't have the same rock climbing skills and ability as Alex Honnold, and so naturally we would plummet to our deaths if we try to do something like this. But our good friend Fear says, hey, maybe don't climb a 3,000-foot granite cliff without any ropes and without the right skill to do so. And then you can say, thanks Fear, that looked really cool and I was gonna do it, but because of you, I'm gonna stay safe and stay alive. Obviously this is just an exaggeration, but fear and anxiety are constantly checking in with us so that we can make smart decisions and not die. The problem arises when we let these voices grab the megaphone in our head and dictate our entire lives. I'm all for staying safe, but at the same time, I know that all profit derives from risk. At some point, we need to take the leap of faith into the unknown, knowing that we have done everything in our power to mitigate as much risk as we absolutely can.
So I'm about to do my first ever climbing shoot on ropes, rappelling down from a cliff face, and I'm not gonna lie, my heart is beating a little bit fast going over the edge on my own top rope anchor. Everything's in my hands right now and it's kind of scary. But I know that I've done the right things and I just have to trust myself from this point, make sure I keep doing the right things, and it'll be okay. But that doesn't stop my heart from beating faster. And I think, yeah, the most important thing is just to keep breathing, stay calm. This is like, it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because it's my first time. So it's scary, but we're gonna do it anyway. Whew, let's go. Whew. It's a good day for it. We're here. We're doing it. Scary. I'm shaking, but we're doing it. We're doing well. So this is for sure one of the scarier things I've done in my life and career. And every time I look down, I'm like, yep, that's a big drop. It doesn't really get easier. I think once I start shooting, I'll feel a little bit more comfortable because I'll be distracted, but the heart is still racing. But again, we're up here doing it, so that's the most important part. Anyway, I think doing it a couple more times, hopefully I'll get more comfortable. But yeah, this is such a spectacular view right now that it's pretty worth it for right now. There's the climbers down there, so they're gonna get started in a bit, so I'll be shooting. But we're doing it.
What we need to understand is that our dialogue with fear is a relationship. It's a give and take. We need to learn to trust it, and it needs to learn to trust us. But how do we do that? So how did I overcome this fear and anxiety on my adventures? Long story short, I didn't. It's still there. It still lives inside me, but I've learned to quiet it down and put it at ease when I need to. I've learned to build a relationship with it. And that starts with the awareness and knowing that you are in control of your own mind. Know that the first time you do something, anything, not even just in the outdoors, there will be some level of fear and anxiety attached to it. But like anything, the more you do it, the more experience you gain with that thing, the more confidence you will build. Just from a more practical point of view, here are some things that have really helped me to calm the nerves when being alone in the outdoors. Number one is a satellite phone. If you're going into the backcountry alone or even not alone, a satellite phone is always a good idea to have in the worst case scenario. Luckily, I've never had to use mine, and hopefully I never will have to use mine, but it always gives me that extra peace of mind just knowing that I have it available if I need to. I have the Garmin InReach Mini 3, I think, so I'll put a link to that in the description if you want to check it out. And then it just like pairs with your phone, and you can use your phone like as the phone, but it pulls the satellite signal from the InReach, if that makes sense. Number two is having proper preparation. Knowing where you're going, studying the land, checking the weather, and knowing exactly what tools you need to do the activity that you want to do are all key factors in mitigating risk and keeping yourself safe. So if you do your research before you arrive, you should be all good. Should be all good. Number three is choosing the right place to be alone. And what I mean by this is if you're terrified of going alone into the wild, but you crave that experience, then maybe going straight into the backcountry of the deep, dark woods of Maine isn't the best idea for you. You need to start small and build yourself up to wherever you want to be. There are still plenty of places you can go to feel alone and secluded, even though you may be in walking distance to some houses or even a highway. And then finally, number four is education. Taking classes in useful skills is never a bad idea. There are things like wilderness first aid, self-rescue, and climbing and rigging classes that'll give you that extra sense of security when navigating in the outdoors. The last thing I want to talk about is mindset. If you want to do this, you can do this. The only thing holding you back is you telling yourself that you can't do this. There are people far less capable than you that have done what you want to do in any realm. If you're feeling extra unsure, know that your fear and anxiety will keep you safe and make you prepare properly. It's usually the people that don't prepare, that don't feel any fear, and don't take the wilderness seriously that put themselves in danger. These are the ones that get lost, injured, or killed. Use fear as a friend. Sometimes he'll have your back, and other times you can say, thank you, but I've got this. So the moral of the story is do it scared. Do it anyway. It's only by doing it more and gaining experience that you begin to build confidence when you go into it again. And like any skill, the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more comfortable you can start to feel. And slowly that voice inside your head starts to calm down. It's still there, it will always be there, but now you can trust it and it can trust you. The rewards are worth it, and the sense of freedom out there is unmatched. So be safe, be prepared, get out there and do it more, and in the end, you'll overcome that fear.